Good morning, third graders. Today we are going to continue our study of perimeter. So, as we practiced yesterday, the formula for perimeter is length plus width plus length plus width. But really, all you have to do is add all the sides together. Remember, because of the commutative property, it doesn't matter what order you add them up or solve them, as long as they all get added up together. So today we're going to be working on solving the perimeter of rectilinear figures. Now we saw these same types of figures when we were talking about area. And what these rectilinear figures are is just rectangles and squares that can be put together and we combine them into making one large space. So for example, in this shape right here, you can see that it is a square attached to a rectangle. So that can help you when you're solving these problems. Remember, when you were solving area, you would multiply the length and the width to find your area. And same with the rectangle. You would multiply your length and your width to find the area and add them together. Well, with perimeter, we don't need to do all those steps, the three separate steps, because remember, perimeter is just adding all of the sides together. So we're going to be adding this side, the top, along with this side, the long side, the bottom. We need this side for sure. We can't forget about this side. And finally, this side. It looks like we've got it covered. It looks like we have the numbers to all of the sides that we need to add together. So you can solve these any way you want. You can solve them by breaking them apart and doing 4 plus 4 is 8. 4 plus 2 is 6. 2 plus 8 is 10, and adding them together that way. You could just go around the circle like we did. You could try to find the best combos by saying, okay, 8 plus 2 is 10, and 4 plus 2 is 6, like that. You could go around and try to find the best combinations. Like I always like putting 5 and 5 together because 10 is an easy number to work with. It is absolutely completely up to you. You could also just write them all down in order. 4 plus 4 plus 2 plus 4 plus 2 plus 8, and solve it that way. As long as you make sure you have all the sides and that you've added them together, you are good to go. I took these problems from IXL to give you an example of what you're going to see today. So as you can see, the problems are going to get a little more challenging. Here we started off with easier numbers to add and maybe a few less numbers. And the hardest thing you're going to get to today is problems like these. You can see that the numbers and the lengths of the sides are getting a little bit longer, or you'll have a little bit more. Notice this figure has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sides, as to where this one only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. So the challenging part of today is just going to be making sure that you've counted all your sides and that you've added correctly. So take your time in doing that. So here we have our figure, and we can start with our 10. And if you have it on paper, I know it's going to be online, but when you do go back into the classroom, if you want to cross off when you've added it, that way you know that you've counted that side. So we have 10. And I'm going to check off these two. I'm going to do 2 plus 4 is 6. I'm just going to keep doing that. 4 plus 2 is 6. 4 plus 4 is 8. And 2 more would be 10. So now I can add all these numbers up to find my perimeter. 0 plus 6 plus 6 plus 0 is 12. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. So the perimeter of my shape, all the sides added up together, would be 32 centimeters. And remember, you just leave the units as is. It's not squared because that's when you're talking about the area inside the space. The other thing you're going to be seeing today is how to find the perimeter of polygons. Now, polygon, the characteristics a polygon has, it has to be flat. It's a 2D shape. So it's not something that you can hold. It's always going to be a drawing or shape on paper. Another characteristic of a polygon is it has to be closed. So all these shapes you notice, and even the ones before in the rectangular and square shapes are all closed. They have to have at least 3 sides, and all the lines are going to be straight. That's not important for today, but I did want you to understand when you were finding the perimeter of a polygon, I wanted you to understand what you are going to be looking at. So here is one of the polygons that they're having you find the perimeter to, and you do the same thing. Just because it's not a rectangle or a square doesn't mean you do anything different. Perimeter, you always add all the sides. So we're going to add 2 plus 4 plus 5. So I know 5 plus 4 is 9. Add 2 more, 9, 10, 11. 11 centimeters. Here we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a hexagon here. It has 6 sides. And I see that in a hexagon, all of the sides are the same. Just like when you see a square and you know all the sides are the exact same length, same thing with a hexagon. So I see that one of the sides is 4. Now there's 2 ways I could do this. I could add 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. Or I know my multiplication facts. So I could say, okay, well, 4 is what one side is. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times since it's a hexagon. Well, 4 times 6 is 24. So that there shows me the perimeter. Because they're all the same, I'm able to multiply. Now, this was in the challenge zone questions for IXL. Just wanted to give you a little look at the more challenging problems. Same thing here, but this time we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have a heptagon, so 7 sides. So I know that if one side is 4, I could do 4 times 7 because it's 4, 7 times. 4 times 7 is 28. So the perimeter of this shape would be 28. But just like I told you before, if that gets a little bit confusing to you, just add, because you know that when you are solving the perimeter of these shapes, you add. So if you want to do 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, if you want to do that, you absolutely can. But because these shapes have the same lengths of sides, you're able to do that. The other thing I want to go over, and we've talked about this a little bit yesterday, is when you have shapes like a square or a rectangle, and it gives you, and even on these heptagons and on the hexagon, if it gives you the side of a shape where all the sides are the same length, if it just gives you one, you know that if this is 3, then this side is also 3, and this side is 3, and this side is 3. Because in these shapes like squares and hexagons and heptagons and octagons and all of those where the sides are the same length, you know if it only gives you one, that they're all going to be the same. Now if you get a rectangle, this one we did talk about yesterday when I had the 4th grade RATS book out. If it gives you, let's say it tells you that this is 4 and this is 3. We talked about this once again. You don't want a wonky shape. When you have a book or a cell phone or something that's a rectangle, you know that it has to be the same sides. So if this side is 4, you can see that this side is also 4. If this side is 3, this length is 3, this side is also 3 because they are parallel. They are across from each other and they are going in the same direction and they are the same length. They end at the same points. And you would just add those together. So just remember today when you are working that for perimeter, you are going to add all the sides together. Please let me know if you need any help, and good luck today. Bye.